We are live.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. We will start the recording and we will admit all. All right, Stephen, you have the floor.
Thank you. See, at least one person still coming in. Give a second here. Okay, the October meeting of the Oregon Country Fair Board of Directors will come to order. And the first item on the agenda is announcements. If you have any announcement, please raise your hand in chat. That's announcements. Jeffrey.
Okay, I've got a number of them here, so this will take a little bit of time here. So, all ballots for the election have been sent out. All online ballots and all paper ballots. They went out on Wednesday, September 24th. So they've all been sent. We are currently working on all undeliverable ballots. The post office obviously returned some, and we've got some email address.
Jeffrey, you're freezing up.
So we're working on sending those out if we can.
Jeffrey,
if we have contact information.
Hold up, Jeffrey. Yeah. You're freezing up some. You might do better if you turn your video off, so that you're only projecting audio.
All right. Okay, so all ballots have been sent out, working on undeliverables. Email ballots sent out on the 24th. Election Buddy is working exactly as we expect it to. We don't see any ballot emails going in spam folders. We do have some people that are having a hard time finding them. Obviously, that's because they come in on 9/24, and if you're not looking right away, they're going to fall down into your email inbox. But all the ballots that went out are in your email inboxes. So to find those, people, the email comes in as it says, "Vote Now, Oregon Country Fair." So if you're looking for a subject line, that is the subject line that the ballot comes in on. This Wednesday, October 8th, we are going to have a reminder go out to everybody that has not voted. About 6 o'clock on Wednesday, everybody will get a reminder email that will pop their ballot email to the top of their inbox. And so they'll have another chance to see it further up in their inbox. So that will be happening Wednesday. Let's see here. We're probably going to do that on the 16th again, a couple of days before the end of the election. So we have a number of reminders that we can send out to everybody before the end of the election. We're probably going to do another one on the 16th. Let's see, what else? That subject line for reminders, it'll just say reminders. Oregon Country Fair 2025 annual election. So that's how that will come in Wednesday for anybody that hasn't voted. Let's see here. What else? Again, if anybody hasn't received a ballot, can't find their ballot, has any issues with voting or the election, they can get a hold of us at elections Oregon Country Fair .org. So don't hesitate to contact us. We're looking every day, and we respond the same day to any phone calls we get into the office or any emails we get into the election email box. So don't hesitate to send us an email. We'll take care of you. October 11th, people can drop off their ballots at the annual meeting. We'll have a little box there if people want to bring their ballots, paper ballots, to that meeting. we will have a little box they can drop them off at. Also, the election committee will be at the Eugene Fair office at 4 o'clock on October 11th, prior to the annual meeting. We'll be there from 4 to 5:30 for anybody that has any issues with ballots or voting. October 18th, last day, anybody can vote. If any ballot received in the office after 8 p.m. on the 18th, we can't count. So that's the deadline. At the exact same time, Election Buddy, the online election application will go quiet, and nobody can submit a ballot after 8 p.m. on the 18th through Election Buddy also. And then on the 19th, we'll be counting ballots that morning. We think we're going to do it at the fair. Excuse me, the Eugene Fair office. We are going to look for some volunteers, so we'll be reaching out if anybody wants to join us. Again, send us a quick email at elections@OregonCountryFair.org. And then the treasurer and I will be certifying the election after those counts. So we'll be posting the results of the election probably early mid-afternoon on the 19th. And I think that's it.
Thank you very much. Arna.
Well, I didn't raise my hand to do this, but I do want to thank Jeffrey and the Elections Committee for the amazing amount of work they've done getting this our elections online this year, and it just seems like it's going really well. So thank you all for doing that. I raised my hand to say this is my last board meeting as a director. My term is up. I'm not running again, and I really wanted to thank the membership for giving me this opportunity to serve on the board. And I will find other places to serve the fair, in other capacities as I have for over 50 years. So thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you, Arna. John Steinhardt.
Two things, both election related. As we reach the home stretch, I once again want to thank everybody who helped make this hybrid election work. John Goski for doing the initial research, Jeffrey for implementing it and for his work on the membership database, and Heidi, Jen, Len, and Merrill both for helping him with the database and handling all the mechanics of the election. I voted and it was really simple and easy. Second thing is, at the September board meeting, I thanked our membership secretary and the volunteers who assisted him with getting our membership data ready for the election. After I spoke, another member spoke and implied that it was the other way around and that my thanks was somehow disrespectful to those three members who are also volunteers on our elections committee. I can understand that somebody who is not volunteering to help might not be aware of how much new ground our membership secretary has broken this year. But that doesn't excuse the smarmy divisiveness and promulgation of misinformation. I don't think that's good for our organization, no matter how smoothly it's spoken. Thanks.
Okay, Sue Theolis.
Got a few things. First off, Food Committee just had our annual retreat and we just had a town hall. We worked out our timelines and all, so I can announce that we are putting out a call out for new food booths. The application will be on the .net site. It opens on the 15th of October. It closes on the 15th of November. We anticipate filling at least 2 spaces. We will put this in Fair Family News and on several of our Facebook pages and a couple other places so that people know that this is happening. If you know folks who are interested, please tell them about it. The other thing regarding Food Committee is that we are looking for a few new members. We have a lot of work to do in the next couple of years and a few more hands would help. If you are interested in joining Food Committee, we really appreciate if people can take the time to attend a few of our work sessions to make sure that it's a good fit for all of us. You can go to the .net page and under the calendar, click on Food Committee work sessions. That will give you our email address. Email us, we'll get you the link right away so that you can join in. preferably at least an hour before we have the work sessions. A related one is Durables. You'll probably hear this from other folks too, but want to make sure this gets out there. Durables is having a work party at the winery on Sunday, the 26th of October, from 11 till 3. You don't have to RSVP, but it helps because they're going to be providing drinks and snacks. You can RSVP at durables@OregonCountryFair.org. They can give you some directions as well as things like wear shoes that are okay if they get wet. I want to make sure, give me just a sec. Oh, one thing that happened at our food retreat. We had an opportunity to spend some time with Tom Barr so that we could express to him our deep appreciation for his years of service on food committee. We're going to miss him. Thanks all. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. We're getting a couple of questions, so I want to clarify. We are in announcements. That's announcements that are of interest to the fair community and is separate from member input, which comes after agenda review and is on items not on old business. So comments regarding, member input is not yet. These are announcements. And AJ.
Yes, so I just want to announce that in September the board had a closed work session with the EDIB group. Purpose of that meeting was to get on the same page if we could about progress going forward. And then we also had a closed session training with Cliff Jones, which was the part 3 of a 3-part series, and we're hoping to work with him even further going forward in the future. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Next person is John Govsky, and I'm going to ask Paxton to clarify. Are you raising your hand for Kevin Levy, or is that something else? What's that in the chat?
Sorry, I was actually trying to message him directly about somebody that needs to go on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay. All right. John Govsky then.
Well, I just want to first, before I forget, I want to thank Arna for dealing with a lot of stuff over the years, and so thank you for your service, as they say. Just thank you. And Jeffrey, oh my God. Okay, less than a year ago, I was told very directly that there would be no way in hell that we could do an online election in a year. I was told there's no way in hell. And so it makes me very happy to see the fruition of the whole process. And I'm sorry if I'm abusing announcements, but this is like thanks. I want to thank the election committee and Jeffrey for fantastic work, but I don't know where to say thanks in the agenda. Like we can't, everything has to be a motion or you have to do evaluation. And is it appropriate for me to announce my thanks? How do I thank people in this meeting?
Well, people have been doing it.
I know. So
I won't say it's appropriate. I'm saying people have been doing it, and it's a question of how it consumes everybody's time, which, I don't think is going to be an issue tonight. But if you have a thanks, why don't you shoot it out there and let's move on.
Well, thank you, Elections Committee. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Arna. I mean, the elections are running so well. So you guys did fantastic work. All the election folks need praise and praise. Thank you.
Okay, John Pincus.
He said he'd wait.
Yes, I will hold till member input. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Amy Hand.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I am wanting to make an announcement that Path Planning is looking for some new members. We will be publishing our call out letter in the Fair Family News. So if you are interested in maybe joining Path Planning, keep your eye out on the Fair Family News this next edition, and we will look forward to seeing you or meeting you at our meetings.
Thank you very much. Shelley. Shelley?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Hey, everyone. Just a quick announcement about a celebration of life for Chris Fitz. It'll be on November 1st, down the street from the fair site. And I haven't been on Meta platforms all year, so you could get in touch with me or get in touch with Annie M for information about that. And in case no one said anything yet, the biggest protest in the history of this country will be taking place on October 18th, nationwide and actually even international. So please participate in the No King's Day, Saturday, October 18th. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Last call for announcements. I have no one in queue. It's the last call for announcements. Raise your hand in chat. Seeing none, we'll move on to minutes. Is there any objection to adopting the minutes of the August 18th board listening session and September 8th, 2025 board meeting, or no? September 8th, 2025 board meeting. Is there any objection to accepting those minutes as submitted? Last call. Is there any objection to accepting those minutes as submitted? Please raise your hand in chat. Seeing none, the minutes are adopted by unanimous consent, and we'll move on to agenda review. Is there any objection to adopting the agenda as submitted? Teresa.
I wrote this down. So I appreciate, Shelley, what you said. In a time when our country feels so divided, this work of equity, diversion, inclusion, and belonging feels more vital than ever. The board has already postponed this vote several times in order to give thoughtful consideration to the work of equity, diversion, inclusion, and belonging. We have now set aside time during the board retreat, which is at the end of October, to review the updated report and discuss next steps. We don't want to lose momentum, but we really feel like, I really feel as a board, that, and I know a lot of people agree with me, to take this time will ensure we move forward with clarity and shared purpose. For that reason, I would like to withdraw the motion to extend for 1 year.
The old business motion to extend the time of the EDIB work group for 1 year. So she's asking to withdraw it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Teresa and seconded by Arna to withdraw. Is there any objection to withdrawing that?
That was Sandra.
Or Sandra, I'm sorry. Is there any objection to withdrawing the extension of the EDIB work group from the agenda? If there is, raise your hand in chat. Member input is fine. Any objections? John Alexander.
Yeah, I think that this should go to a vote. I think, and with some discussion. I am confident that taking this to, well, I'll wait for discussion. I'll just say yes.
Well, by objecting here, you're go ahead. You're the first person in the discussion.
All right, thank you very much. I am confident that we indeed can take this to retreat, depending on who we are at the retreat, and discuss it and come up with a path forward. My concern about not voting on this simple motion is that it leaves the community and the committee, the EDIB committee, in a space of uncertainty. And so would consider voting for this motion as it is. If it would need an amendment, that's fine, but it would at least secure the committee's position for another year. And then we take it to the retreat to discuss whether we bring in new members, how we focus their attention and their schedule on specific tasks that they want to continue to work on, or that we want them to continue to work on, and ensure that we have a collaboration with the EDIB group of moving forward. So I just think by postponing this vote again and taking it to the retreat leaves things uncertain. And I don't think approving them for another year with the caveat that we'll discuss what that year looks like at the retreat and through collaboration with EDIB is any different, except for it takes away the uncertainty that those people who have been vested in this process might feel by postponing it again.
Okay, I want to clarify first that this is withdrawing the motion, meaning it would be going back through new business and old business. So this is a motion to withdraw it from the agenda. And I'm going to take a moment here and ask, is there any member input on withdrawing this motion from the agenda before going back to board discussion? Any member input? Raise your hand in chat. Last call for member input. Coyote.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make it clear to you all that the progress report, I don't know how many of you have read it yet. It's the work of a single individual. I know it's been presented as others have had input into it, but that's simply not the case. So what you'll be reviewing and thinking about is the work of one individual, which was not collaborative, and
Okay, this has got to be speaking to whether or not to remove it from the agenda. So
I see.
be sure
Okay.
you're clear on discussing
Okay.
removing it from the agenda.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm okay with whatever you do with it. I just wanted to at least give you that input. That's it for now then.
Thank you. So Laney, same criteria. This is about whether or not to withdraw this motion from the agenda.
I'd just like to echo what two people on the committee have mentioned, that it might be a good idea to keep it on the agenda to provide the security for the people in the group to know that they can continue with their work.
Thank you. Is there any other member input? Last call. Okay, board discussion. Is there any board discussion?
Well, that was hand. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Teresa.
I just wanted to quickly say that my belief is, and I'm wanting to get confirmation about this, that this is not a motion to disband the EDIB group. It's a motion to spend some time at the board retreat, and they would just be on hiatus for a period of time. This is not a motion to disband.
Okay, thank you. Arna.
I guess I'm a little uncomfortable with just withdrawing this motion. The EDIB group had, I think, been in favor of having this 1-year extension. They had asked for it. Although Coyote wasn't speaking on point here, he did provide context for what was happening in terms of the board going to the retreat and reading the report, which, as he said, did not reflect the whole committee. So I'm not sure what the board would do at the retreat. I won't be there, obviously. And so it does concern me a little that all views from the EDIB group have not been really conveyed to the board properly. So I'm just uncomfortable with this just being withdrawn. I guess that's really all I can say.
Thank you. John, or AJ, excuse me.
Yeah, so I think for the exact reasons just spoken is a reason why the board needs to have this discussion at the board retreat. There is obviously, if you paid attention to any of the online stuff and just what was said here tonight between an individual who is on that committee and other board members, the board has made some missteps over the past couple of years with its engagement in this kind of work with committees. And I think it's important that we don't keep following the same pattern of mistakes, and that when we see an issue, we get proactive about it and work together on it. And so I am in agreement with taking this to the board retreat and withdrawing this motion, because we need to do some more work when it comes to having a committee and of the board work on the behalf of the organization, and work collaboratively together. And so I've been at every meeting. I've been at all of the even the closed session, in our last closed session. We can't talk about that, but we learned some things, and I think it's important that we take a lesson from our past.
Thank you. I'm getting some messages for clarification. So just to clarify, I think it was around Teresa's comment. My understanding is if we withdraw this motion, the work group, effectively their mandate expires. But that doesn't mean that the board can't simply create the same work group, same people or different people or whatever else it wants to do if it reinstates that in the next board after the retreat. So the hiatus is effectively like the group ends, but it can be restarted. If that understanding is incorrect, somebody should speak up. Next person I have on the list is John Steinhardt. John Alexander, I just swapped around because John hasn't spoken to this motion yet. John Steinhardt.
Yeah, I just want to say I support the motion to withdraw. I think one of the things we've all learned from this exercise, I think we all got kind of surprised that there's bigger and more complicated issues than we realize. And board committees do work for the board and working groups too. And it doesn't make sense to have one if we don't know what work they're going to do. And I think many of us thought this was really going to be easy. We were going to get a report and it was going to be clear what the next steps were, but it really isn't right now. And it took months to develop the original motion to form this committee. And it's got a good chance it's going to take that much time to do it again. It actually is going to take some serious thought to try to get it right. I hope we can get it right the next time around. So yeah, I support the motion to withdraw. Thanks.
Okay. I'm going to Kevin Levy because he has not spoken to this motion yet.
Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, I'm in support of the motion being withdrawn, the board going back to talk about it. So one thing we learned in the Cliff Jones training is about that this work takes time and it deserves time. And I think that we're very successful folks. We want to see things happen. And I think that we have to learn, like AJ was saying, from our past mistakes of trying to just get it done. And I may not even be there for the conversation, but I'm still happy to see that folks want to take their time with these things, because I think that's something that's ultra important. So for that reason, I'm definitely in favor of withdrawing to make sure we give it the time it deserves. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. So back to John Alexander.
Yeah, thanks. So, Stephen, my concern, you articulated it very well and re-articulated it. If this gets removed, it goes in limbo. By default, the committee is out of time. And it won't be till we vote on reinstating them that they get back to work. That's my understanding of it. I think it's important to recognize that we as a board do the work of the fair, and we work for the fair and the fair family, as do our committees at our direction, at our behest. I would, to kind of try to compromise or come up with something that we can all get through this with, make an amendment to postpone this motion till the next board meeting, which will be after the retreat and that discussion is had.
Is there a second to amend this motion to postpone the agenda item to next meeting?
I would second that.
Moved by John Alexander and seconded by Arna to postpone until next meeting. Is there any member input on postponing versus withdrawing? Last call for member input.
Coyote has his hand up.
Wait, put my hand up. There we go.
Oh, yeah, the other way.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Coyote.
So does this
This is still about whether to postpone, not or postpone versus withdraw, not about the other going-ons.
I just want a clarification, but we could still meet, right, during that period of time, right? And we'd still be able to collect our paychecks and our insurance would still be valid, right?
As I guess my interpretation of that would be you can meet as an association of equals all you like,
Okay.
but you wouldn't be a fair work group during the interim if your time has expired, as I understand.
Is that accurate? Is that right, everybody?
Right? Yes. If anyone thinks that is incorrect, please speak up. But that wouldn't bar any group of fair members from getting together.
Okay.
Hey, Stephen.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Stephen, I want to clarify. I'm guessing it was a joke, but I do want to be clear just in case anybody doesn't know that it's a joke. Our committees don't get paid and they don't have an individual insurance through us. So just clarify that, please.
Thank you. Okay. So we're going last call for member input. I don't see any. We're going to go to Sandra. This is on specifically, or Arna. Go ahead. You can speak. You were on the last, but that's fine. Arna, then Sandra, then John Steinhardt. And what I want to emphasize is this debate now is specifically about the distinction between withdrawing and postponing. Okay, so not about the value of not doing it tonight, but just about postponing versus withdrawing. Go ahead, Arna.
Yeah, I guess to me, postponing it seems better because if we withdraw it, the committee is defunct. Postponing it at least gives the board with maybe new members time to talk about it and make some plans. You may still disband them after the retreat. I understand that. But it gives the committee a little more time. I mean, this group has worked really hard for 9 months. And, here we are talking basically about disbanding them. And that makes me unhappy and uncomfortable. And I don't feel it's a way to treat our committees, So I really would like to look for a way to make this work for them. And I don't think voting on withdrawing this motion tonight is a good way for that. I think there needs to be more collaboration between the board and the EDIP work group. And, I think the board can discuss it at the retreat, but then they also need to come back and talk to the group again. We had an hour's discussion with them. But that wasn't, to me, that wasn't really enough. I mean,
So postponing versus withdrawing, Arna, we got to stay on.
Yes, I want to postpone. I'm sorry, you guys, I have COVID brain right now, so it's very hard for me to focus on conversations. I apologize for drifting. Yes, I want to postpone to allow EDIP to respond to this more. I don't think they were expecting this and to be disbanded tonight, basically. So I'd like to allow them more time to respond as a group and give the board more time to talk about it.
All right, I'd like a clarification from the original motion, which I don't have here, which is if you either postpone or withdraw, was there a hard deadline by which they expire? In other words, are they still a work group until you reconsider it, or are they in fact expired? Did they have a term of until October or November? It was 9 months from the start. So what is that date? When is that?
I believe that was September or October.
So effectively, because you postponed it a few times already, they are in theory by the motion expired. So I just want that to be clear with everyone, which means if they've been carrying on, you can have them carry on or not, but that seems to be where we're at. Sandra.
Yeah, I'm going to vote against postponing it because I know that part of the plan for tonight, if we did move forward with this, was going to be some substantial amendments to it. And I think that really does require, enough to go back through the new to old business process. And so I'm going to vote against postponing. Thank you.
Thank you. John Steinhardt.
Pretty much the same thing Sandra said. If we postponed it, this would be the fourth time that we would be carrying an old business motion over. And that to me is just a little too abusive of our processes for old business and new business. I do think that as Sandra said, any type of motion going forward would require amending it to the point where it really didn't have much relation to the original motion. And I also want to make it clear that we're not actually voting on just dissolving the work group tonight. My belief is they are already dissolved by the language of the original motion. It isn't any kind of surprise. Everybody that volunteered for the work group knew what that motion said. And, we need to figure out what to do next before we go do it. We don't know if it's going to be another work group or a committee or something with an outside consultant. Me personally, I'm really stumped on this. I don't really know what I'm going to do. So I just think we need to do this cleanly and not extend it and figure out what our next step's going to be and put up a new motion. Thanks.
Thank you. John Alexander.
I'll wait till we to discuss.
No,
next.
okay.
round.
Okay.
Thanks.
Last call for discussion on whether to change this to a postponement. Seeing none, we will go to a vote. This is on whether or not to change it from withdrawing from the agenda to postponing. Sandra.
I vote no.
George.
No.
Paxton.
You're muted.
Apologies. No.
AJ.
No.
John Davis.
No.
John Steinhardt.
No.
John Govsky.
No.
John Alexander.
Yes.
Teresa Vaughn.
No.
Arna.
Yes.
And Kevin Levy.
I'm a no.
Okay. The motion fails with Sandra, George, Paxton, AJ, John Davis, John Steinhardt, John Govsky, Teresa Vaughn, and Kevin Levy voting no. If anyone wonders why I do that instead of the yeses, it's because the rules require the minutes reflect the no votes. So we are back to withdrawing this from the board, from the agenda. Is there anyone who wishes to discuss further the withdrawing of this motion from the agenda? Please bear in mind the amount of conversation that has already taken place. Did you want to have your hand raised for this, John Alexander, before I go to Steinhardt? Or no? Okay, John Steinhardt.
Call the question.
The question has been called for.
Yeah, I raised my
So-
hand again, so this is what I wanted to talk to.
Right. So what we have there is a call for the question. So we're going to vote on what this vote is on whether or not to end discussion. Sandra.
Needs a second.
Oh, thank you. Is there a second to calling the question?
A second.
Okay, moved by John Steinhardt and seconded by AJ. Sandra, this is on whether or not to stop discussing this motion and go to a vote.
No.
George.
I'm a little confused.
So we are voting on whether or not to stop discussing. John Alexander has his hand up. If this motion passes, discussion ends and we vote on the motion. If this motion fails, we continue discussion and John Alexander gets to speak.
I'm going to vote yes.
Paxton.
No.
AJ.
So a yes vote is
To end discussion and vote on the motion.
okay. Yes.
John Davis,
Yes.
John Steinhardt,
Yes.
John Govsky,
Yes.
John Alexander,
No.
Teresa Vaughn,
No.
Kevin Lee Arna,
No.
Kevin Levy.
Yes.
Okay. With that, the motion fails with Sandra, Paxton, John Alexander, Teresa Vaughn, and Arna voting no. And we will continue discussion. John Alexander.
Yeah, thank you. And
Paxton, did you vote yes? I think Paxton voted yes.
No, I voted no.
Yeah.
Okay, my mistake.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you all letting this discussion go on, because when we go from an amendment and discussion on the amendment to that failing and then straight to discussion on this and someone calls the vote, it means that the people who wanted to discuss this in itself, separate from the amendment, which we're trying to keep to the rules, don't get to do that. That's happened several times this year. So I appreciate the fact that we've got the discussion. I simply want to say, and I'm going to be very quick because it might be a little redundant, but it was done during the discussions of the amendment, that if we remove this, we are, by making that decision, putting this committee into a state of non-existence, if not, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And I don't think that's the right thing to do to them. We could either vote on this or amend it or do something, but that's just what's happening. That's what a yes vote to this on this is, and that's how I feel, and I don't think that's the right thing to do.
Thank you. I'll remind folks, if there is no further discussion, we will proceed to a vote. John Steinhardt.
I just want to repeat what I said before because it sounds like it got missed. The committee has already, the work group has already expired. What we do tonight, unless we are going to vote for an extension with new tasks, is not going to change that. Thanks.
We're in board discussion, John Pincus, so you won't be able to speak to this at this point. AJ.
Yeah, I just want to be very, very clear at the announcements. Top of the meeting tonight, I announced that the board had a meeting with the EDIB group. They are very much aware of what we're doing. We have been in communication. And so some of the board was not there during that meeting, and I'm sorry if you weren't there, but for those of us that were there, yeah, this is not a surprise.
Thank you. Last call for board discussion. Kevin Levy.
Okay, so I'm trying to get us moving forward. So I just want folks to try and look at this a little bit more positively. That really it's about opportunity to be able to us to do a better job of helping the committees do their work and to make sure we're giving them the right direction. And also, again, if I'm not there, it's still the postponing still commits the board and the committee to the same timelines. What if the board says we want 2 or 3 or 5 years out of them? What if they want to do different things that work better for the committee? I just don't want to hold up a process like that could be more productive. And so instead of kind of keeping these guardrails on there, we kind of let them off and be able to be open to things and what we can do to best work with these folks. And so I don't like the whole disbanding and we're throwing them in the trash things. Not what's happening. We didn't spend, I don't believe the board spent a year working on this with them, 9 months all the time, just to kind of throw it away. I think folks are trying to be meaningful about the work now. And so hopefully we get a chance to do that. Okay, thanks.
Teresa.
I think there was a little bit of an insinuation that this vote is disrespectful to the current committee, and I would like to reiterate my deep respect for the work they've done. They have worked very hard on an incredibly complicated and complex issue. And every member of this board has deep respect for their efforts. And there is nothing in this withdrawal other than a deep commitment to the work of EDIB and a desire on this board to do it right.
Last call for board discussion. Seeing none, we're going to proceed to a vote. This vote is on whether or not to withdraw the motion from the agenda. Sandra?
A yes is to withdraw it.
Yes is to withdraw the motion from the agenda from old business.
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Paxton?
Yes.
AJ?
Yes.
John Davis?
Yes.
John Steinhardt?
Yes.
John Govsky?
Yes.
John Alexander?
No.
Teresa Vaughn?
Yes.
Kevin Lee, or Arna, excuse me,
No.
and Kevin Levy.
Yes.
Motion passes with John Alexander and Arna voting no. And with that, is there any other agenda items to be discussed before we move on? Last call.
Stephen, are you talking about, we do have another agenda item,
What do you mean?
to appoint Cedra Hill.
Yeah, this is about modifying the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, is there any other discussion
That's all the
about?
farther we've gotten.
No. Yeah, that's all we've got. We're at the top of the. We're at the top of the.
I was ready for President's Peace.
We're top of the schedule still. No, is there any other? Is there any objection to adopting the agenda as amended? Last call. Seeing none, the agenda is adopted as amended, and we're going to membership comments. These are for comments on items not on old business. If anyone has anything they want to say about the EDIB workgroup motion, it is no longer on the old business agenda. So now would be your time to make any comments about it. This is only for items not on old business. Member comments, please raise your hand in chat. Lisa.
Hello, everyone. I would like to express my disappointment with the conduct of some of our elected directors during this election cycle. The negative campaigning by sitting board members, in my view, goes against both the spirit and the intent of not only the organizational code of conduct, but also the board's code of conduct. As a member, I find this very distressing, especially at a time when we should be coming together. You are our elected leaders, and leadership is shown through example. If this kind of behavior is allowed to continue unchecked, then our codes of conduct are meaningless. I urge the board to hold itself to the same standards of integrity and respect that it asks of everyone else. Let's use this moment to reaffirm the values that unite us as a community. We can do better, and I believe that we must, for the sake of our organization and its future. Accountability begins at the top, and it's up to this board to show that the code of conduct truly matters. Thank you.
Thank you. John Pincus. John Pincus.
You hear me?
We hear you now.
You can hear me now. Great. I spoke to the board at the last board meeting about open and transparent governance, which is, I think, what most fair members expect of their board. But we continue to hear at every meeting something that used to be quite rare about matters being discussed in closed meetings that do not fall into the three categories that are actually qualified for those in most people's practice in this organization. And I see a lot of really difficult challenges coming up, such as EAB and the current state of the nation, etc. And I don't think we can meet those challenges without open and transparent governance. We need everybody to be involved directly, and that means actually involving them directly. So I will be looking at each candidate as to both their record and their statements regarding transparency, open governance, and open meetings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other member input? Any other member input? Raise your hand in chat or on the screen, I guess. Coyote.
Thank you. First of all, deep gratitude to Arna for being our liaison, being the EDIBS liaison for the period of time. Really appreciate that. You did it well. I appreciate that. I think I may as well just introduce or reintroduce myself. All of you, some of you we've never met. My name is Michael Coyote Connolly. I'm a fair elder. Have been serving as a volunteer member of this EDIB work group since its inception. And I'd like each of you board members to review my application so you get a better understanding of what I bring to this group, okay? Professionally as well as personally, in the many years that I've.
I want to be sure you know there's a time limit,
Oh
Coyote.
no, I didn't know that. Oh my God.
2 minutes.
Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Let's see. So what I'd like you to do then, because I got stuff I was going to say and I'm running out of time, obviously. For each of you interested board members, look at my application. My email address should be on there. Email me, contact me, because I'd like to talk with you about all this. It's not been an easy ride. It's not been a pleasant ride. It's been a very frustrating and a very, for me, a very sad time. Came into this with great hopes, and it's just been very, very sad and disappointing. So you want to know more, get into details, get down in the bushes or wherever it is that weeds, I guess. Get a hold of me, and I'll see what I can do to tighten this up, shorten it up, so that I can respond to you more clearly and more fully, because there's a lot of bullshit that happened, and you need to know about it. And if you don't, you're not getting all the information. So one last thing I guess I'm going to say is I have felt a great deal of disappointment and disrespect from some of your board members. It's been very inappropriate and very disappointing. So I think you need to hear the other side of the stories. Oops, there's my music.
That's
okay,
it.
I'm out of here. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Lawrence Taylor.
Hello. Well, yeah, you heard some of it just now, and hopefully those folks who are paying attention recognize that, and I've paid attention to a lot of elections going back to the 80s, And even at our toughest moments, the Braddock Parrott recall, the 1991 clean sweep recall, some of the other fractious times we've had, it is difficult for me to think of an election cycle that has been more personally vitriolic than what we have seen, and in particular from sitting directors. And as you've been reminded, and I will remind you, you have a code of conduct, the second point of which is principles and values, which states board members shall, not may or should, but shall adhere to the following principles and values, the second of which is compassion and respect, which says we, that is to say you on the board, we treat each other and our stakeholders, that's all the rest of us, with compassion, respect, and kindness. And what I want to know is, are you kind?
Okay, I am speaking. I wasn't planning on speaking on this at all during this time at all, and I am speaking as a member, not as a facilitator of the meeting. But after listening, I feel it's important to say something, and that is simply that there was, from what I observed, and I've been in some conversations that some of you may have seen and others may not have on Facebook and whatnot, and elders, but there was some dynamics in this group that had an impact on how much collaboration took place and how broadly perspectives on how to approach this issue were considered. And it created some pretty difficult feelings for some people, I'm sure. And I would strongly encourage you, if you're talking about this at the retreat and then deciding how to go forward, that you speak to all of the members, including those who have left the group, and try and get an idea of what their experience was, and use that information to carefully consider the kind of collaborative environment that you want any future group to have, so that it is constructive and so that everyone and their varied perspectives are all respected, heard, and reflected in how that group's output is created. That's all I have. Going back to being the facilitator again, Heather Kent.
I believe Stephen was talking about the EDIB group, although I didn't hear the acronym.
Yes, I was.
But I want to second what Stephen said and implore you to really, really take to heart what Coyote said. It's not hard to take what Coyote says to heart, so you probably already have. I will say for my part, from going to some of the EDIB meetings and corresponding extensively with Hall, that you really do, unless you have been paying very close attention, you probably don't have a sense of what happened there. And what I will say is that I see what happened as a terrible, terrible travesty and a terrible loss of opportunity, because Hall was so excited to be part of the equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging group, and to be essentially run out. It was an opportunity for incredible collaboration. And that opportunity was lost. And one of the things I will say is that I know that questions were asked of the board by the group to help get some clarification on what their work of the board was supposed to be. And as someone who has worked on other fair projects myself, I will say that it's so disrespectful to let people work for 9 months. And then in this case, yes, there's a 38-page report that's not collaborative. But to let people work for 9 months or 9 years in the case of, let's say, other big projects, it's just terrible that all that community volunteer energy is just wasted.
Thank you, Heather. John Steinhardt on member input.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm kind of limited in what I can say because of board confidentiality, but I think there's more than one side to this thing, and the people that are not limited by that can say what they want and the rest of us can't, but we are considering all sides in this issue. Thanks.
Thank you. Last call for member input. Seeing none, we'll move on to staff report. Kirsten.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Stephen. Okay, I'll make this quick. On the administration side, the 2024 990 and CT 12 and financial statements are complete and are in the board packet this month. So we are done with 2024 and the results were very good. The Board of Directors election is on October 18th, as mentioned by Jeffrey Ramus. Ballots, both electronic and paper, were sent on September 24th and are due at the Eugene office by 8 p.m. on October 18th. A big thank you to Jeffrey Ramus, Membership Secretary, the Elections Committee members Heidi Doscher, Janlyn Hodgden, and Meryl Levine. This was a big lift migrating all the member records to Sunshine. Their efforts have propelled OCF into the digital voting age. With deep gratitude, thank you. The annual membership meeting is Saturday, October 11th. That's this Saturday at 6:30 p.m. at the Unitarian Universalist Church. We encourage members to watch on the YouTube live stream if they cannot attend in person. The event manager posting is closed. We received quite a few resumes. I have selected 9 candidates for interviewing, which will start next week. And it'll take about 6 weeks to get through the first 2 rounds. We hope to have somebody placed by the end of the year. The Financial Planning Committee and Budget Committee met on October 1st to approve revenue projections for 2026, and those will be coming to the board under new business in November and voted on in December. And the Budget Committee begins the expense recommendation starting October 15th, and we'll meet every Wednesday through November and then reconvene in January. Event management, the guideline change form is now live on the .net site, and the closing date will be November 15th. The board will vote on these guideline changes at the January board meeting. All recommended guideline changes will be posted in the December FFN. And we also are doing 2025 crew debriefs are ongoing. For the site, the manufactured home at the winery is almost done being installed. We do need furniture donations for this house. It is a 3-bedroom and we are looking for mattresses, preferably twin singles or foam pads. We need couch or couches, chairs, table. Please call the office if you have something you'd like to donate to see if we still need it. I am expecting this to be finished and ready and insured by us by mid-October. Staff, and we won't really open it up for meetings until we have it furnished. Staff, site staff meetings are ongoing and are focusing on facility projects and maintenances, and we're making a lot of headway in documenting all of our facilities and the maintenance and projects that we need to do on everything. Major crew projects for 2026 are going to be main camp kitchen and the water system. Marketing, commemorative sales, be sure to check out merchandise at merch.oregoncountryfair.org. We have quite a few things on there from this year and some, season or what we call green, non-dated merchandise, evergreen, lasts forever. So please get an opportunity to go and buy something for your friends and family for holiday gift giving. And of course, all of our posters back to the beginning are still on the .net site and available for reprint. We will be doing a 4th quarter direct donor campaign, and please consider making a cash donation to OCF. We will provide you with a tax-deductible receipt for you to use for your 2025 taxes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I don't see Hillary here. How are we doing financial, the treasurer's report?
Yeah, Hillary is actually traveling today, and really the only thing she had to do was let the board know that the 2024 financial statements The 990 and CT12s have been filed and accepted by them, both the state and the federal. So that's it. No report other than that from Hillary.
Thank you very much. And moving on to committees and work group reports, is there any objection to accepting the committee and work group reports as submitted? Raise your hand in chat if you have any objection. Is there any objection to accepting the committee and work group reports as submitted? Last call. Seeing none, the committee and work group reports are accepted by unanimous consent. We'll move on to old business. We only have one item on old business, the appointment of Cedra Hill to Bill Wooten Endowment Committee, sponsored by AJ, Sandra, and Kevin Levy. Who would like to make the motion?
I will.
And who would like to second it?
I will.
Okay, the motion is appoint Cedra Hill to be Bill Wooten, to join the Bill Wooten Endowment Committee.
That's correct.
And I think Cedra is here. And
She is, or was.
so she might want to introduce herself. And I'm not sure if Linda Ramers is here. She might want to.
Okay, so why don't we start with, do you have anything you want to say to this motion in introducing it? And then I will obviously let Cedra Hill speak first.
Okay, I think she's highly recommended by the other members of the committee. They're looking for new members that can grow into lead this committee. It's part of their transition plan. So she does come highly recommended. It's really smart, and I think she'll do a really good job there. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Cedra Hill, are you here? Would you like to speak?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, and feel free to turn your video on. I turned it off
Okay.
earlier because you
I
weren't.
think it was disabled by the host, so
There you
hello.
go.
Hello there. Thank you for having me. I was invited to say a few words, so I have just a few quick words prepared. My name is Cedra Hill, and it would be an honor to serve on the Bill Wooten Endowment Fund Committee. I've known Linda Reimers my whole life, and my family has run a booth at the fair my whole life, and it has been has helped form the core of who I am. I was born and raised on the Alsea River in the rural area just northwest of the Fern Ridge area. And I share the values of equity and access to the arts, high quality education, cultural diversity, and local community. I appreciate all of those values and share them. I'm happy to share my skills and experience with the committee and to help work toward the goal of the fair to be a positive, contributing member of the local community. I just earned my master's degree and I'm building a business as a patient advocate. I'm highly organized with the ability to apply systems of information. I think I can bring a lot of professional skills and abilities as well as my values. So thank you for the opportunity and for your consideration.
Thank you very much. I see, so we're on member input on this motion now. Sue Theolis.
I'm a member of the Bill Wooten Endowment Committee, and I can tell you that the committee is very happy that Cedra wants to join us. Thank you so very much. You'll like it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in member input to speak to this motion? Last call. We'll go to board discussion. Is there anyone on the board who wishes to speak to this motion? Teresa. Habd.
I do know how to spell. I just wanted to thank Cedra for your willingness to do it. Everybody just speaks so highly of you, and I just from all of us, thank you so much for your willingness.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I'm excited for the opportunity.
AJ.
Yes, I just want to give a little gratitude for stepping up, being a volunteer at this level in our organization is a task, and it is loved work, and it's something that brings what I hope is the best of everybody to it. So thank you for stepping up, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Kevin Levy.
I just want to echo the same thing. When they asked me to help sponsor, I heard so many great things already. I was like, well, heck yeah. And so thank you, Sandra. And I'm excited, so excited about how excited everyone else is. And so I look forward to your awesome work for years to come. Thanks.
Thank you. Sandra.
I just think this is an important appointment. Philanthropy, and this is one of our major philanthropy funds, is hugely important to this organization, and to make sure that it's well run. And doing this work for us is you're due our gratitude for taking it on. So thank you.
Thank you. John Steinhardt.
Well, Sandra just said everything I was going to say, so I guess I'll just say thanks. And at least you're not volunteering for the job Jeffrey is, so you're not completely getting thrown into the deep end. You'll have help at least. Thanks.
Thank you. Last call for board discussion. Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And I don't know if you know, Cedra, but if you're not a board or an officer, then when you're not actually speaking, we ask you turn your camera off. It helps everybody else. So we're voting now on whether or not to appoint Cedra Hill to the Bill Wooten Endowment Committee. Sandra.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Paxton.
Yes.
AJ.
Yes.
John Davis.
Yes.
John Steinhardt.
Yes.
John Govsky.
Yes.
John Alexander.
Yes.
Teresa.
Yes.
Arna had to leave at approximately 8 p.m. for the record for health reasons, so she is absent. And Kevin Levy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously with Arna absent. That is the end of the old business. We go to new business for next meeting is the 2025 election results and the appointment of officers. The next board meeting is November 3rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. via Zoom. The annual meeting is Saturday, October 11th, 2025, 6:30 p.m. at the Unitarian Universal Church in Eugene. Again, available by YouTube. And meeting evaluation. Let's please try and keep this to just about this meeting. Is there any meeting evaluation? Raise your hand in chat, specifically about the meeting process. Last call. John Alexander.
I want to thank all the members who had input throughout the meeting. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Cedra. I hope I'm getting your name right. Thank you for stepping up. I appreciate that we were able to disagree on some things. And I think it's important that we don't characterize disagreement as non-collaboration. And so I appreciate that we were able to get through some of that stuff. And I would be very careful when you hear anything otherwise about the importance and celebration of board members disagreeing with each other in a civil way. Thank you.
Thank you. Coyote.
Thank you, Stephen. I really appreciate the way you facilitate, Stephen. It was personally a difficult meeting for me, and I found your style to be very welcoming and just helpful for my own emotions and all. Thank you. I also want to say to Lawrence Taylor, that last question you asked is, are you kind? I think that's a strong cornerstone of who we are as a culture. And I think it's something that I think we've forgotten a lot of our values. And I appreciate you bringing that back up. And I'm going to repeat what I said to all of you board members. You have my email address. I would be more than happy to talk with you Zoom, write back and forth or whatever, because I've been doing this fair since it was the Renaissance Fair in '74, and means a lot to me. And I have hopes that the underlying spirit of the fair herself is still strong and is still vibrating. And want to take, because we're not meeting in person anymore, in case you haven't noticed, and that's very difficult for me, who is a person who looks at body language and eye contact and all those good woo-woo things, so having a Hollywood Squares event is challenging for me. So I appreciate Stephen, what you've done, and thank you all. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you, Coyote. John Steinhardt.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on something that came up earlier in the meeting about transparency and closed sessions. The board is actually allowed to meet in closed session on any topic, as long as we're not actually taking a vote. And we don't really, there's kind of an implication that we're very secretive or something when we're doing this, but really it's just about getting business done. I mean, think about tonight's meeting. It took 45 minutes to get through whether or not to remove a motion from the agenda. We actually have work to get done, and we're actually all volunteers that have day jobs and other things to do too. And we can't do that for every issue. So we pick and choose what we do in closed sessions very carefully. It's really not our preferred way of doing things, but it does let us get the business done. And we are, anything that we do that requires a decision that's not about legal personnel or property, we bring to the board and discuss, open meeting and discuss it there. But we do need some time to get our heads together on things. And that's what we do. Thanks. Other than that, great meeting.
Thank you. Okay, Paxton.
I just kind of want to say something that Zach taught me, and I think we're missing some of that. And that's the 3-chip interaction. For every interaction, personal interaction we have here in the fair and in our meetings, it's get the job done, treat each other with respect, and have fun. And I think we need to think more about that. Thank you.
Thank you. John Pincus. We see you, John. You're not muted, but we're not hearing you.
I'm going to pass, Stephen. I just encourage people to think about my earlier comment. Well, I will make one comment. The law allows boards and other actors in our organization to do many things, and it allows a lot of things in the world in general to occur. That doesn't mean all of those things are things that we want as a community. Thanks.
Thank you. Teresa.
I want to reiterate and agree with what John Alexander said about thanking people for their input. You are volunteers, just like we are, and you showed up tonight and you shared your thoughts. And I know that everyone in this meeting cares about the Oregon Country Fair. And I also feel that we are stressed as a culture, and I would like to just appreciate that people were fairly respectful in sharing their disagreement.
Thank you. Last call for meeting evaluation. Heather.
So since we're doing a wide-ranging version of meeting evaluation, I just want to say that I don't imagine that I'm the only one who does not go for it when the contention is made that because we had an executive session about the EDIB group, now it's confidential. We don't go for it, you guys. There's no, are they personnel? Are committees personnel? I really implore you to write some, to make some policy about this, because it seems like it's just made up on the fly and when it's convenient.
Thank you. Lawrence Taylor.
I want to commend the board for meeting publicly, even if it takes 45 minutes to get an item off the agenda. Democracy perhaps isn't the most efficient mode of governance, but ultimately it is the most appropriate. We live in a time in which democratic principles are under attack all around us, military on the street right here in Portland. We owe it to ourselves, to the greater community, to the human race, to exemplify the values that we have. Meetings that are over before 8:30 are for the faint of heart, for those of us who know what a real long board meeting is. These are pretty short, pretty quick, and they really don't require a lot of closed meetings to get the business done. So again, I commend you for doing it in public for all of us to participate in. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Coyote, did you want to say something else for meeting evaluation?
Me?
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment on something. Okay. What was one thing that Paxton said, and Paxton, I love Zach as deeply as you do. I do have a concern about the order of things. Get the work done, treat one another nicely, have fun. I really believe, and when I did the mediation team, and when I did the neighborhood response, I told those folks to treat people well, treat people with respect and kindly, then go about and get the job done, and then have fun. But I think it's like a healthier way to do things. Make the connections and then get the work done. Thank you.
Thank you. And I raised my hand on meeting evaluation just to say, if we had the motion up, we would have taken 45 minutes or more on the motion. Taking 45 minutes to decide whether or not to withdraw a motion from the agenda is not impairing the work. It is the work of deciding whether or not this should be on the agenda of the board. And if we are concerned about how long some of those conversations take, I think many of us, family and board members, can really think about how important the things they want to say are and how wide ranging their comments are versus being, trying to limit what they say, how many thank yous, how many acknowledgements, how many repeating of somebody else or repeating of what you said is necessary. If you want to try and pare something down, the place to pare it is by trying to choose your words carefully. Other than that, I don't have any problem with it. I mean, this all went well, but it's perfectly fine to take a very difficult subject like the one that was there and take a long time considering whether or not that should be on the agenda. If it were something more trivial, it wouldn't, as has been the case, then it doesn't take that much time. So this was time devoted to that subject, and I think it's perfectly fine. Last call for meeting evaluation. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to President's Piece. AJ?
Yes. And so this one might take a second, but first I want to thank the membership for being present, those of you that are here in the Zoom and those of you watching on YouTube. Your voices are important, and your attention to these matters are important. I want to say next is I want to give time for the board that I've served with this year to really show appreciation for each one of you. One of the things that I have learned is that This is not a glory job that we do. We are elected, we are unpaid, and we have spent so much of our life and our time giving to this organization and serving in the best way we know how. I don't know that you hear that enough. The time that you take out of your lives to contribute to this organization the best way you know how is important. It's why you were elected, and it's why you show up every time. Even in the face of critiques, like we heard many of them tonight, there are so many of the members that appreciate the work that you do, and they know how hard it is. And I just want you to leave tonight, the board, I want you guys to leave tonight feeling good about the work we do, even when we disagree with each other, and be welcoming to the next group that steps up to do this job. It is important work. It is the most important work in this organization. And so I want to, as your leader, show gratitude and thank you for your service to this organization. And let's continue to work together. Thank you all and have a good night.
Thank you. And with that, the October meeting of the Oregon Country Fair Board of Directors is adjourned.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. See you at the annual meeting.
Thank you.